So I would like to prove that the Gnostics are true Christians by a prophecy that was fulfilled in 1945. I'm going to go ahead and tell you the prophecy, and then I'll give you the dates of basically the prophecy, and you'll hear it all out, and you could judge for yourself. Okay, so until understanding of Scripture is to be given. So basically, this is the prophecy. In Isaiah 6:10 to 12, it reads, "Make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert, and be healed. Then said I, Lord, how long? And he answered, until the cities be wasted without inhabitation, and the houses without man, and the land be utterly desolate. And the Lord have removed man far away, and there be a great forsaking in the midst of the land." So, this is different. The Holocaust, also known as the I don't know how to say it, Shoah, was the genocide of European Jews during World War II. Between 1941 and 1945, Nazi Germany and its collaborators systematically murdered some 6 million Jews across German occupied Europe, around 2/3 of Europe's Jewish populations. Now, there are pictures that the Nazis were actually in Palestine at the time, and so my guess is they actually took them from there, I would say. Um, so the Jews, I mean the Palestinians, they were, I would say, the real Christians. I mean, not the real Christians, but the real people that lived in the land. That's why they said it's their land. Um, so the people were supposed to be removed far from the land. Um, so this started in 1941 and ended in May 1945. And the same year they found the Nag Hammadi Library, which contained the Gospel of Thomas and the Gospel of Philip. Now here's another article that was from the Wikipedia, but this is from the web. It says, every year on May 15th, Palestinians around the world, numbering about 12.4 million, mark the Nakba, or catastrophe, referring to the ethnic cleansing of Palestine and the near total destruction of Palestine society in 1948. So, most likely, they were basically, they were driven out of their land, which is basically Palestine today, or Israel today. The Palestinians' experience of dispossession and loss of homeland is 69 years old this year. On that day, the state of Israel came into being. The creation of Israel war was a violent process that entailed the forced expulsion of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians from their homeland to establish a Jewish majority state, as per the aspirations of the Zionist movement. Between 1947 and 1949, at least 750,000 Palestinians from a 1.9 million populations were made refugees beyond the borders of a state Zionist forced had taken more than 78% of historic Palestinians, ethnically cleansed and destroyed about 530 villages and cities and killed about 15,000 Palestinians in a series of mass atrocities. I'm sorry, I never seen that word ever, including more than 70 massacres. Um, Palestinians in 1948, 5 months after the creation of Israel, leaving a village in a Galilee returns or redders. Though May 15, 1948 became the official day from commemorating the Nakba, armed Zionist groups had launched the process of displacement of Palestinians much earlier. In fact, by May 15th, half of the total number of Palestinian refugees had already been forcefully expelled from their country. I'd like to kind of go over that again. So basically, it's saying um, much earlier, in fact, by May 15th of 1948, half of the refugees already have been forcibly expelled. So this is saying before 1948. So yeah, it probably started around 1945, I would say, because it's a vast landscape, and these people probably would have been hunted out from caves and thoroughly searched, and such a at the equipment then, they probably didn't have the satellite imagery or such high-tech technology, or possibly even infrared at the time for them to actually really, because it does say that 10% will stay in the land, so it did say up to here 78%. So I mean that's almost like 90% right there, and then 15,000 were killed. That's possibly another like 570. So I mean, give or take, probably 3-4%, if that could be even considered. But I mean that's 12% basically. Well, maybe I'd say give or take probably up to like 8% off of that 10% of that number that was said to be, even though a tenth remained in the land. So, anyways, continuing on. So, forcibly expelled from the country. So that was one of the prophecies that had to be taken place, which it says in Isaiah 6:12, and the Lord have removed man far away, and there be a great forsaking in the midst of the land. So this had to happen before, like everybody can, they can understand basically. So then the same year, 1945, just keep in mind, most likely they probably consider 1948 after, um, they probably didn't. Let's just say 1945. But 1948 probably was when they really everything was done. But 1945 when basically it was already being done. So anyways, the Nag Hammadi Library, also known, was found in 1945 in December of 1945. Okay. Now let's go back right here to it says where so the end date of the Jewish Holocaust was on May 8th of 1945, and it began it in start date of 1941. So we do have some very I would say a good evidence right here to really make I would say a logical estimate of the possibilities of this prophecy being fulfilled, that in this same year when this is happening, that the Nag Hammadi Library, which contained the Gospel of Thomas and the Gospel of Philip. So I mean, I don't know if you guys know about the Gnostic texts. But they call themselves Christians. They call themselves a good man and women. They call themselves friends of God. They call themselves the perfects. They never call themselves Gnostics. Okay, they were labeled Gnostics. Okay. Um, but let me continue on. The Nag Hammadi Library, also known as the Chunamboiski manuscripts. I don't know what it says, something like that. And Gnostic Gospels is a collection of early Christian and Gnostic texts discovered in the Upper Egypt town of Nag Hammadi Nag Hammadi in 1945. 13 leather-bound papyrus codices buried in a sealed jar were found by a local farmer named Muhammad al-Saman. But we're going to end it there, but you could obviously see that the possibilities of this prophecy being fulfilled at this time are extremely high. More than, I'll say 90, I'll say like more than 70-80%. A lot of people would think we're done at, we're already at the we're already at the end of days, and I mean, logically, I would say, yeah, we are. So I just want to show you guys that. So when you guys, I don't know if you may agree with it or not, but I can tell you one thing. If you considered it, and there's a lot of other stuff you could consider too, but this is just another point of proof of many. That's probably, I would say, one of the most important ones. I would say a few of basically all of them. They're all important. But this is really, like, I'll say one of the grandest ones, basically, of real logical proof. And I'm pretty sure when it all said and done, you know, if we would know then, like, when that time comes, that the prophecy was fulfilled. Because logically, I would say it was. And I was, led to the Gospel of Thomas, Gospel of Philip by dreams. And I was just trying to figure out what Bible to read. And I mean, so yeah, now you can understand that the prophecy is fulfilled, and the truth now everybody's basically could understand, if they understand. They could understand, basically. Okay.